So, who do you think it's more likely that they could catch? Do you think the Pelicans or do you think the Clippers? What is more likely, or maybe both?
Well, yeah, so this is right now they're 2.5 back of the Clippers, 2 back of the Pelicans. The Suns are in 6th, then they're a half game up on Sacramento and Dallas for 7 and 8. I mean, mathematically, you would say the Pelicans, New Orleans is playing really good basketball right now.
Yeah,
though.
the Clippers are not.
They are not. The key, though, for the Suns is they've got 2 games against each of those teams. So this really is still in their hands. Look, would it be nice to have home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs? Yes, it would be cool. Another game at Footprint Center. When they went on that run a couple years ago, they were so tough at home. That doesn't matter to me as much as staying out of the 7 to 10 range.
Yeah.
But it is on the table now.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is on the table. Listen, I think I can't help but focus on the Pelicans. The Pelicans, of course, as the 5 seed right now. And the next 4 games for the Pelicans are going to be super tough. They got OKC at home. All these games are at home. It's a nice homestand for the Pelicans, but they got Oklahoma City. They have Milwaukee, Boston, and Phoenix. Phoenix for the first time. They'll play them later as well. But think about that. The next 4 games, those are some very, very tough games right there and tough opponents. Now, as you said, the Pelicans are playing very, very well, but, man, is it conceivable that somehow, some way, especially with that Suns game, that could be for a lead? That could be for the number 5 seed in the Western Conference. I don't know. I think so.
All of these games after tonight have some sort of ramification because you play the Clippers twice, you play the Pelicans twice, you play Sacramento on April 12th. That might be to stay out of the play-in. So that
Sure.
right there, 5 of these last 10 games have direct implications on where they finish in the standings, and then the other 5 games are the Nuggets, the Cavs, 2 against the Timberwolves, and Oklahoma City. So the best teams, top 3, top 4 teams in each conference. I'll say this, Wolf, and this is one of those things. I want to make sure I say it the right way. The best case scenario for the Suns is that they finish 4th. They just keep winning, and they finish 4th. Then you go into the playoffs, you're playing good basketball. If they can't do that, 6th might actually be the best spot because you avoid the play-in. And I would much rather play Minnesota in the first round than New Orleans or the Clippers.
I got you. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one right there. It's also, too, oh my goodness, it's so daunting when you look at the last 10 games after tonight, Basin audience. After they play the San Antonio
It's like they go up a league.
Just go ahead and read it again, Luke. You've been all over this for, I want to say, 2 months.
All right, so you get San Antonio tonight, right?
Okay.
And then you get moved up to a higher league, and you go to Denver. You go to Oklahoma City.
By the way, Denver now, the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, ladies and gentlemen.
That's probably about right.
That's probably about right. Took them a while. They got going, and now there they are, the number 1 seed.
They go to Oklahoma City after that. Oklahoma City's been the number 1 seed pretty much all year.
Denver, Oklahoma City.
Then they go to New Orleans, who you just detailed. They're 8-2 in their last 10.
There we go.
Then they come home. They play Cleveland.
Oh, piece of cake.
No problem, yeah.
I mean, tough team.
Home against Minnesota might be a first-round preview.
Oh, my goodness. Minnesota. Would you say they've had a good season? Basin audience.
They have, and I would say they're the weakest team left on this, and they've been the number 1 seed for most of the season.
They've had an excellent season. Well done.
That's only 5 of the games. They still have 5 more after that.
And this next 5 seems almost more brutal.
Then they host New Orleans. That's April 7th.
Okay.
They host the Clippers, who they haven't beaten yet this year.
Okay, the Clippers.
That's April 9th. Then the next night, they're in L.A. to face the Clippers again.
Wait a minute. You're saying a home and away back-to-back against the Clippers.
Then on the road in Sacramento.
What is that, game 6 and 7? No, game 7 and 8, right?
Yes. And
that's
game,
7 and 8
yeah.
of this 10-game stretch. That's game 7 and 8. Will we know by 7 and 8? After those 2 games, will we know?
Well, I think you'll know at that point if home court is in play or not.
Yes.
And then on April 12th, you go to Sacramento. Like I said, that one might be the most important because it might keep you out of the play-in. And then they wrap up the season in Minnesota, which, I mean, now that I look at it, it could be, hey, Sunday, April 14th, the Suns in Minnesota to play the Timberwolves. And then on Wednesday, the playoffs start, and they'll be in Minnesota to play the Timberwolves. I mean, that really could be one of those games.
Oh,
right now, they're lined up to play the Timberwolves.
Can you imagine if that happened right there? Oh, man. This is bizarre. It's wild, and it's so difficult. And, yes, I realize when you're talking about catching the Clippers, yeah, I think, they're 3 games back in the loss column right now. Yeah, I get it. Oh, that doesn't seem feasible. When you look at the schedule of the Suns, when you look at it, just how difficult it is. And yet, there's this small little modicum of hope that I keep holding out that maybe, you know what? Maybe it's Bradley Beal. Maybe it's Point Beal, right? It's a let Beal deal. Isn't that right, Paulie? Maybe it's
That's so much better than what's Beal's deal when he couldn't stay on the floor.
Is it possible suddenly they find their groove over the last 10 games and roll into the playoffs? We shall see.
Yeah, see, again,
this is awesome.
I go back to being like, I mean, you're trying to win here. I'd love for them to go in the playoffs on a 14-game winning streak. But I wouldn't hate it if these right now are the final standings, but that they win a bunch of games here. You know what I mean? Because then you're
okay at 6. You're fine.
I'm okay playing Minnesota in the first round, and then if you win, playing the winner of Oklahoma City and whoever comes out of the play-in.
Yes.
And so if you go on a run, you don't get Denver in theory until the Western Conference Finals. This is not a bad spot for them to be in, except
what
it's
about the
so
5
tenuous.
seed?
Well, the 5 right now, you'd be playing the Clippers, and if you won, you'd be playing Denver in the second round.
Okay.
You can't avoid these guys.
I was going to say I'm not concerned with that. I really am not.
The only thing, and
I'll play you when I'll play you, Luke.
You could make a case playing Denver earlier is better too. The one thing is you have to stay ahead of Sacramento and Dallas.
Yes. No, I think you're right about that. Play him early. I honestly, I don't care. As a former professional athlete, right now, I can tell you, I'll play you when we got to play you. If you're going to win the whole thing, you have to win. Period.
You will have to go through Denver at some point.
It doesn't matter. So I'm with you on that one. I'd rather play them early.
Here's Devin Booker after the game on Saturday saying he knows and they know what's at stake right now.
Yeah, I mean, we have vets around here. We're not a young team. We know what's at task. We know what our goal is. So, we're focused on ourselves right now, and I think that, will turn out the best for us.
Also talked about the increased urgency at this point in the season.
Very well. It's been all of us. We've just been communicating with each other. We've talked as a team, and, we understand it's go time. We have goals. We have things that we're trying to reach, and we're going to have to do it together.
Think about this right now. The next 4 games for the Pelicans are going to be really tough. I already said Oklahoma City, Milwaukee, Boston, and Phoenix. They're all at home. But, man, that is a tough 4-game stretch right there. Kind of sounds like the Suns schedule, as a matter of fact, when you think about it. So that's going to be tough for the Pelicans, even though they are playing well. They play Phoenix twice as well, head-to-head, twice. Also, 8 of their last 11 games for the Pelicans are against playoff-caliber teams right now, just like the Suns schedule. This is going to be really, really interesting to watch down the stretch. Every night is going to yield different results.
The one spot you don't want to be is Golden State in 10th, 1 game up on Houston for 11th. Houston's won 8 in a row.
Man.
Can you imagine if Golden State misses the play-in entirely?
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.